Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Kevin's Upfront Opinion today. So, what I thought I'd speak about is before Christmas, I saw this post, and I think it was on Facebook. I can't entirely remember where I saw it, and it basically said, um, "A woman is a bad mother." Okay, don't think I'm about to say all women are bad mothers, but a woman is a bad mother if they stop a father from seeing their child for no reason. Now, I spoke to one person about this. Okay. Won't mention my wife's name, Joanne. Okay. And she said, that's a load of rubbish. No woman would ever do that. Okay. Talk about sticking up for your own sex. And I thought, I'm sorry for my language here. You're full of shit. Okay. Now, is a woman a bad mother? So the question is, at the end of the day, is a woman a bad mother if they would do that? Okay. Now, I know a few women who have done that. Okay, they've gone out of their way to purposely stop the father from seeing their child for no good reason. Okay, and I'll even name them. Okay, so I can name three off the top of my head that I know of. Okay, and I'll do it in age order as well. First one being my own mother. Now, some people would say my mother did it for a good reason. Others would say not. Now, my mother was married to my father. They split up in around about 1980, 1981, somewhere around that. I don't actually know why. Okay, they were married. It was turbulent marriage, a lot of alcohol, a lot of abuse in the marriage. Okay, they separated when I was about 2 or 3. Okay, never actually got to the truth to what happened. No, I know it was to do with violence. Okay, but who the violence came from, don't know, because they both give the same story. They just blame each other. And then when I was about 7, my mum made sure that we didn't see our father, and I never saw my father until I was about 18, maybe 19, because he contacted the Salvation Army. So any dads out there that want to get in contact with their children, okay, and having an issue, contact the Salvation Army. They'll be able to help you. I remember getting a letter. Didn't even know who it was, but wanted to contact me because it didn't actually have any name written on there or anything. But Salvation Army is a good bet, and they still do that to this day. Okay, so that's the first person, and obviously for those asking, I do still see my father to this day. Okay, and that was what, 1998 ish, 97, somewhere around that. But my father got in contact with me. Next person was an ex-girlfriend of mine. I'm having to try and remember her name though. It was quite a few years ago. You're talking about 15 years ago. She lives in Thornhill as it happens. And she used to refuse point blank to allow the dad, even though she didn't exactly know who the father was, she had it narrowed down to 2. But the one that she believed was the father, she used to refuse point blank to allow him to see the child. Now, I was with her for what? About a year, maybe a bit longer. He was a lovely kid, to be honest. He was only like about 3 or 4 when I was with her. So that was another one. The third one, God, I'm going to get so much aggro for this. This one will come back to bite me. Okay, and this is when it makes it more personal. And in a way, it's like going full circle, because in my life, I always went out of my way to be nothing like my father. Not to say that there's anything wrong with my father, you know. He's recovered from a lot of his demons, you know, alcohol abuse and all of that. Recovered from it, or as much as you can, because you always still fight it. And I ended up being exactly like my father from this point of view, where I had a child with a woman that I cared deeply about, and I made one mistake, and for 16 years she's refused point blank to allow me to see that child. Now my daughter Amy is now 16 years of age. She was 16 back in August. Okay, messaged her a few times. Okay, still never seen her. Asked her on numerous occasions, the mother, to see my daughter. Refuses point blank. Okay, now my ex-girlfriend Sophie, you know, she can think what she likes of me. I don't really care. Okay, I had years where I hated her and absolutely despised her for what she did. Now, I've always had this one view. This has always been my view, my personal view. Okay, and people can disagree with it and give me their own version of what they believe. Because it's not only women that do this, because men sometimes get custody of the children, and they can go down the same route. Is women that do it, they're not necessarily bad mothers. What they are is selfish, and that they're thinking of only one person. And most people automatically think, well, you're thinking about the child. No, they're not thinking about the child. The one person, a woman that does something like this, or a man that does something like this, is thinking of is themselves. They never think about the child, because what they don't take into account is how much damage they do to that child. You know, me personally, with what my mother did, I had a lot of resentment for my mother. I've been in counselling a lot of my life, been on antidepressants, and done a lot of stupid things, to be honest, through my life, which I put my hands up to at the end of the day. So it boils. So the simple thing is to ask is, in my book, it's them being selfish because they want control. They want control of the narrative. Okay, and they'll do whatever it takes, whether that means moving areas, because that's what my ex did. She completely, and I'm not talking about, you know, from one town to the next, like my mother did. She, you know, we lived in Southampton, so she moved from Thornhill to Woolston, which is what, about 2-3 miles apart. My ex went from Leon Solent to South Wales. You can't go much further. Okay, you go in several counties. Okay, and it wasn't the case, but I did anything wrong in my book. Now, if I went by what my wife says, a woman would never do that unless they have a reason. Say, for instance, there's abuse. So whether it's a case of something like that, I would suggest another reason a woman would do it is if a relationship's broken down or a marriage is broken down and they want to start a new life. Maybe they've met a new man, which is when I say it's their own selfish needs. Okay, and this video isn't about bashing women or anything, because there's a lot of decent women out there, but even I've known over the years, but would never even dream of doing something like that. But there's a lot of them that do. You know, my sister's a single mother, and my eldest nephew, he used to see his dad every weekend. My eldest niece used to see her dad. I'm pretty sure it was every weekend. And my youngest niece, she actually lives with her dad now. She doesn't live with my sister. That's out of choice. She sees her, well, up until when she moved back into her dad's, she was seeing him pretty much every few days at the end of the day. Wasn't because it wasn't working, and my sister's training to be a nurse at Southampton General Hospital. So there are cases where it can actually happen. So what I want people to tell me and explain to me is, are women selfish if they stop a father from seeing their child for no good reason? And does it happen very often? So that's what I want people to tell me. So let us know in the comments down below. But for now, thanks for watching, and we'll speak to you all again a bit later.